Hello guys, this is Madsen here, back with a challenge mode gold guide for MoP Classic. MoP meaning Mist of Pandaria. This is Stormstout Brewery in in Valley of the Four Winds. I don't know why the location's relevant, but I thought, oh, it'll be relevant a bit. Okay, now this isn't realm best, but if you want to go super fast, you'll need two people with a battle horn. I'm pretty sure nobody in this group had one, so that kind of sucked. But anyway, at the start, there's these monkey ads, the Hosen. You'll start with these two sodden Hosen brawlers who are being controlled by aqua dancers. They have a buff that slows the target and deals frost damage. So get rid of them and they lose not only that, but also a huge portion of health. And then there's these inflamed Hosen brawlers up ahead. They're being controlled by fiery tricksters. This is one point where you can use the battle horn to kill all of them. You know, it really saves having to target them individually. But anyway, their buff, makes them deal fire damage. I'm pretty sure an AoE as well. And of course, you also want the tank to be moving sooner than this after hitting him, but whatever, we still made it. Just by not as much as we'd hope. You can also ignore those drunken brawlers or not. Oh, and here's another part where the battle horn comes in. Someone goes right there, although preferably a tank, given that we don't have, unless you have a paladin who can bop them, you know, hand of protection. They also have these barrels where they can roll into a crowd of Hosen, although some tanks may discourage that, because when I say tanks, I mean the people playing them, but some tank players may discourage that because it can cause some of them to get behind them and kill them. Not ideal, yeah. But anyway, just kill these guys until that counter goes up to 40 and then they'll leave. And here comes the first boss, Ook Ook. Okay, here. The barrels are very important here. They will dictate how long you're going to spend on this boss. Really, if you don't make efficient use of them, let's just say you're not going to get gold and you'll have to start over. Oh, and he's also, okay, has a ground pound right there that will stun anyone in front of him. You definitely want the tank to get out of that because that could be potentially lethal. And going bananas, it's an attack speed buff that happens every 30% of his health at 90, 60, and 30. It also increases damage, but hey, not really a big problem as much as people need to use the barrels. I mean, look at the damage he's taking, man. Honestly, we're making okay time at this point. Have a ground pound, make sure to avoid that again. And there we go. He's dead. Nice. Of course, you also want to ideally pull him to that so everyone can just get out of that room sooner, but whatever. And here's these bunnies, whatever called, I don't remember what they're called in the game, but there's those hoppers. They have a bomb on them, and after they'll sit in place for 5 seconds and explode, stunning you and dealing a lot of damage, so don't get caught in there. And of course there's the boppers. They carry these hammers you can swing around to knock the other bunnies up into the air. Rabbits, hoplings, whatever. But it'll knock them up to the air and cause the hoppers to explode mid-air away from the group. And that's ideally what you want to have. See, like there, I got stunned and got quite a large bit of damage. You do not want that. This comp is not super ideal. I don't know, it's just some friends. I don't know, it's sometimes hard to make a group for challenge modes. And this was my first time, so I wasn't exactly comfortable doing with strangers. But anyway, here's the second boss, Hoptalis. Alright, pretty simple boss, just make sure you get away from him unless you're the tank and you can rely on your healer from Whirlwind. Oh, yeah, see, oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, he's targeting a DPS. Yeah, if you're a DPS, just kite him around, but try not to kite him through the group, as that'll hurt them. Yeah. carrot breath. Don't get hit by that. It'll knock you back. I mean, DPM uses a shockwave warning when that happens. And there's more boppers. Kill them, pick up their hammers, and don't waste whatever hammer you had previously beforehand. Oh, by the way, those hammers only have 1 charge in challenge mode as opposed to 3 in regular heroic. Oh. Oh yeah, we knocked almost all of them up, but then we had a couple that kind of screwed up, but whatever. Okay, this is kind of sloppy, man. But hey, whatever. Gotta make do with what you got. Yep, and a second wave of ads. Of course, with a more optimal group, you really shouldn't make it to a second wave of ads, but whatever. So after this, you gotta wait for that rabbit guy to the cart to knock down that carrot. And then this is where you can decide whether or not to use an invis pot. But honestly, it's really not recommended, dude. We were just I mean, we were all new to this except for that elemental shaman who's on Gelcross. But yeah, if you're gonna use a Vispot, use it here if you want. Although really, but again, a more optimal group would really prefer not to. But if you are gonna use it, don't get hit by that. Don't get hit by that beer that's being spewed from a keg, or else it'll knock you out and then get you killed by those guys. And it'll just be a waste of time. Oh yeah, those no, those are sudsy elementals. I forget what those others are called. Sudsy elemental brew. Yeah, those guys have a suds ability that lays down a sort of void zone on the ground that you do not want to stand in. It deals damage and pacifies you. That is, it prevents you from casting or attacking during that. So don't stand in it. Then there's bloated brew elementals. They just give seems like on challenge mode they just give an ability bloat and not that blackout brew in normal heroic and celestial. Yeah, so bloat it'll be on a person and it'll knock back anyone beside them and deal damage. So don't stand next to people with bloat. Alright. And then there's the next pack, a yeasty brew elementals, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, you get behind this pillar and bring them all into one place. And then you do some massive AoE damage and some stuns too. Yeah, definitely don't forget some stuns if you have them, like Capacitor Totem or Shadow Fury. Yeah, look at this big AoE damage. Yeah, the arms were AoE. Yeah! Sorry. Oh yeah, they also heal each other with some lines. Not really a big problem if you can. Only really big problem if you fail to get them all in one place, which we didn't. And then you get a wave of 4 sudsy brew elementals. Don't stand under suds. And they also cast, all those also cast brew bolt, so interrupt it if you have to. In fact, I forgot to mention to use my disrupting shout on, or was it interrupt? Well, yeah, I used my AoE interrupt on those and got them all further in one place. Yeah. Yeah, brew bolt. Yeah, maybe use a grounding totem if you have it, or spell reflect if you know what's on you. Although that's kind of hard to know what's on you when you're attacking multiple mobs at once and you're on a timer. And speaking of time, we have over 3 minutes left. Now in an ideal, sorry, that was my. So in an ideal group that didn't use an invis pot, you'll want to use your damage potion here, like Potion of Mogu Power, because you'll normally want to ignore the ads and focus entirely on the boss. Well, by ignore I mean stand in between the ads and their healing beams, so they don't heal the boss. But yeah, you'll want to pop all your CDs here. In fact, if need be, you could have your healer go DPS for this. That can really help out a lot. Oh yeah, you can also switch specs in challenge runs when you're not in combat. You can't do it with Mythic Plus and Retail though. Oh, and then there's those beer walls. Don't get hit by those. By the way, whereas in Heroic and Celestial this guy has random mechanics every time, here this is all there is. And bloat, again, careful about people with bloat near you, they'll knock you back. Okay, if somehow you're not able to... Okay, the DPS check, if we're doing it this way, the DPS check on this is pretty tight. If you're not... Okay, if you're... I don't know, if you're not really... You should ignore the ads, but stand in between them, but... If that's a... Hang on. Anyway, sorry about my rambling. I'm horrible at improv. Really should consider taking classes when I get a chance. And sorry, that's my dogs in the background. Now, I don't know, if you are unable to stop them from healing, well, you're gonna have to find a way to deal with them. But yeah, I mean, despite what it looks like here, we're still gonna get it, trust me. Yeah, just look at that execute, man. You gotta really rely on that execute damage for us to make it. And maybe my Mortal Strike if we can, but it's not doing a whole lot of good. Oh yeah, it just took us a few tries. So here we are, yeah. And that's Gold Stormstout Brewery. Thank you guys for watching. Hope this helps you get gold too, although really hope you're more optimal than this was. So like, comment, and subscribe if you want to catch any occasional video I make. Peace.